Hi, Tommy Hayfield here. I'm giving you a little bit of background for some of my stories I've recently wrote on another site. Uh, this information is specifically about Napoleon. People are probably wondering about Napoleon. You know, he's an ancient figure by most people's estimation. 200 years. I guess that might or might not be ancient, but anyway. Here's some info about Napoleon. I mentioned in the article I wrote that Napoleon was exiled to the island of Elba. As a matter of fact, he was exiled twice, once to the island of Elba and once to the island of Saint Helena, which is in the South Pacific, which is the place where he ended up after he escaped from the first exile. The Saint Helena exile was in the South Pacific, which was a like sending someone to Australia if you're an Englishman. It was a long ship ride. Anyway, Elba is the place where he went in exile. It's an island in the Mediterranean, off the west coast of Italy. It's in between the island of Corsica and the uh, Italian mainland. It's 6 miles off the coast. It's an 86 square mile island. Uh, Napoleon was sent there as a result of the Treaty of Fontainebleau, which ended the first, I guess you could call, campaign of uh, of battles that Napoleon engaged in against most of Europe outside of France. The Treaty of Fontainebleau gave Napoleon. Um, some people thought he was imprisoned there. He was really essentially imprisoned there, but he was given sovereign control of the island. He was essentially the governor of the island for the 9 months he was there. He eventually escaped. He was sent to the island on April 20th. He set sail from France, from southern France. He reached the island on May 4th, at which time he was, um, I guess you could say, ensconced with the um, governorship of the island. He was there for 9 months. He was ambitious there. While he was there, with some of his relatives. His sister and his mother were with him there on the island. He was only there for 9 months, but while he was there, he attempted to improve the infrastructure of the small island, um, which was then known for mining ore. Today, it's a tourist mecca. I guess you could go there and to the port of Porto and imagine uh, Napoleon um, in exile in this beautiful Mediterranean um, city in the on the west coast of Italy. Anyway, he was there for 9 months. He began his exile there on May 4th, 1813, and by um, May by I'm sorry, February 26th, 1814, he decided he had enough. He escaped through a blockade in the out of the port of Porto, which is the largest city on the island of Elba. He snuck out through the guard of through the watchful eyes of some British guards. He also had men with him when he was sent in exile to Porto on Elba. He had 200 of his um, loyal troops with him. He escaped with many of these, and so that's the story of Napoleon. Some people call him Emperor Napoleon still at this point. Um, some people call him Napoleon the First. I call him Napoleon. Some people prefer Napoleon Bonaparte. He was later sent, as I mentioned before, to the island of Saint Helena, because after he escaped from his island prison of Elba, he took took leadership over France Um, and in what was called the 100 Days, he engaged the armies, the other European armies in Waterloo. Um, People know Waterloo from as a sort of a symbol of ultimate defeat, which, as a matter of fact, um, what happened there. At the age of 45 years old, he engaged the British and the Austrians, I believe, in Waterloo. The things didn't go well. He didn't predict he didn't assess the situation perfectly correctly. He waited for the battlefield to dry out from a series of rainy days. This gave the one of the attacking armies a chance. One of the potential armies that he was going to engage with a chance to uh, reach the battlefield and engage him. Thus, um, I guess you could say, assuring his defeat. Otherwise, he would have been uh, matched up pretty equally against the army he was previously engaged with. So that's the story of Napoleon. He was after this second campaign. This was just a very short campaign, 100 days. They call it the 100 Days. He he was sent in exile this time to the South Pacific island of Saint Helena, which was a long boat ride by 19th century standards. I mean, South Pacific from it must have been a month ship's ride down there at least, or 2 months. Anyway, he would have preferred to go back to Elba, which he requested, and the British thought that's a foolish idea to let him hang around the Mediterranean because he'll just get away again. Anyway, they were pretty nice with their emperors back then to give him one chance like that. There's a lot of sort of I don't know what adjective to place on it. There's a lot of respect. Was it grudging respect? There's a lot of respect for someone like Napoleon because I could imagine today he would have been assassinated or something like that. But back in those days, you sent people in exile. I guess he had a lot of aristocratic friends who sort of appreciated the art of war and of conquering nations, I guess. Anyway, that's Napoleon and the story of his first and second exile. I'll do another story about his second exile, which ultimately um, was where he died in the South Pacific. So that's the story. So if you happen to be reading one of my stories on a bunch of contemporary subjects, when I refer to Elba, that was when I say Elba without a lot of context around it. It refers to an exile. So if I say Napoleon's Elba or someone's Elba, that's just an exile. Anyway, I'm Tommy Hayfield. I write for a lot of sites, and so check out my stories.